wanted to make this video on the 16th, Saturday, last Saturday. Jones Wiley and my wife Bobby Jean and I decided to go trail riding, which we do every weekend. And I wanted to go over to Buzzard Roost, also known as the Goat Trail, and go over toward Cataloochee and check out the elk, because of the storm Helene has closed a lot of roads and stuff. And the road going over there was actually closed, but we went ahead and went through there because we got four-wheel drives, and I'm glad we did. So we were driving over there, and my wife, Bobby Jean, didn't even want to go over there, but I kind of talked her into it because I wanted to go see the elk. There wouldn't be anybody over there, so we had two Jeeps. Jonesy was behind us, and we were the lead Jeep because I've got Onyx on my Jeep. So we drove over there and we went through the Goat Trail okay, and somebody come through and cut a lot of the trees out and made it possible to get through there. And so we drove on over, and by the time we was getting over there, it was starting to get around, I think, 3:30, 4 o'clock. And there's this little road that goes down to Cataloochee that you can't take unless you got a four-wheel drive. Somebody in an Infinity tried to drive over there, and they got stuck, and the car broke down, and they ended up walking out. And we found that car and turned it into the police, or to the sheriff's department. I think it's Haywood County, I'm not sure. Anyway, that car sat there for months before I think they finally got it moved. And we were going over by there to check to see if it had been moved. And the road's really bad through there, so it's real easy starting out. It's very deceiving, and that road's called Long Arm Road, I believe is the name of it. So we're driving through there, and we come up on this Nissan Sentra, and the doors open on the passenger side. Now this car is over to the far right of the road, and it got off into a ditch, and the front end, the actual tire on the driver's side, was off the road. It was probably 6 or 8 inches off the road, and so there was no getting that car out. We thought somebody come up there, got over, and abandoned the car. And my wife went around and she checked to see if we could find any information, but who the car belonged to. I got the tag number, and she shut the door. Well, some stuff had fell out of the car. We put that stuff back in the car and shut the door. And so we were getting ready to leave when Jonesy whistled real loud, and we were getting ready to get in the vehicle and leave. And I said, I just hollered out. I hollered out, "Hello, anybody here? Hello." And the third time I hollered, I heard a voice way down in the valley of that mountain, down in that hollow. And we heard a voice saying, "Help." Well, that kicked us into action. I dialed, didn't even have a signal. It said SOS on my phone. And I knew I could dial 911 and it would give me some kind of a signal. So I dialed 911, got the ball rolling for them to come up there to do a search and rescue. My wife decided to go down the mountain, down to where she heard the voices. And she started down through there, and she hollered, and she said, "There's another road down here, and you need to try to see if you can find where this road's at." And so we went back up the trail, or back toward, away from her car back, and about 100 yards, there was a gate. The gate was locked. We couldn't get through, but there was a wide enough place on the left-hand side. I just drove around that gate, and I drove down in there, and from there I could see the two ladies that was down there. All I'll say is their first name. Donna was the mother, and Kim was the daughter. Kim, I think's in her 40s, and Donna's in her 60s. And my wife, she walked down to them, and she wanted to get them off the ground, and so she walked them, and I see she was having trouble with the older lady, Donna, and so I decided to go down off, and you had to slide on your rear end down into that hollow. And so I slid down there, and I helped with Donna come up to where a tree had fallen, so at least she would be off the ground and not sitting on the ground. I could tell that both of them were suffering from severe hypothermia. They had violent shakes. They hadn't drank anything for 2 days. They were hungry. And so my wife, she went back, and I took 2 Pepsis with me, 2 Diet Pepsis, because Bob Jean said one of them's diabetic and they're thirsty. We didn't have any water with us. So I carried 2 Diet Pepsis down, and Kim quickly drank her Diet Pepsi. And Donna, she sipped a little bit on hers, but she was so weak, she could barely hold the bottle. And so I told Bob Jean to go back up to the Jeep and get my heavy, it's like a Carhartt jacket, and with a hoodie, and it's very warm. So I told her to go up and get that and that extra blanket that we had. Now, our dog goes everywhere we go, and that's the blanket that lays on his bed or on the seat beside us to try to keep the hair and stuff off our seat, and just to protect it when he's getting in and out of the Jeep. So we took that blanket down, we wrapped that around Kim. It's very hard to get up that hollow. It's very steep. You had to do it on your hands and knees. So I held Donna until Bob Jean got back, trying to get her warm, because she was very cold. I know her body core temperature had to have dropped a lot. She was getting to where she was incoherent. She could just barely whisper. Kim was in a little better shape, and so we waited there until I heard chainsaws, and I heard some sirens, and the rescue squad had got there. Jonesy got the gate open to where they could come down in there, and we used my Jeep to tie off for their ropes to go down to the that board thing that they put a person on, strap them in, and we were trying to winch her up using rope. She's probably down in there 200 feet. And I offered to use my winch, but they said they couldn't use a powered winch, because of protocol. Well, Donna got to the point where they couldn't feel a pulse. She was going in and out of consciousness. The only way they could get a pulse is through her carotid artery. And they decided to forego protocol, and we hooked and brought her up with a winch, which was much faster, and there wasn't nowhere that she could have got caught on anyway. We're going slow, but we're going steady, and we had to release the winch, go back down, tie off several times before we got her to the top of the bank. We put her in the Jeep, in the back of my Jeep, and I backed back up the trail and got turned around in a real steep curve there in that old road, and turned around and drove her up to the ambulance. They put her in the ambulance, and quickly they took off with the ambulance, to meet up with the helicopter that was waiting for her. She was really in bad shape. I don't even know. I don't even know if she survived. I went back down the trail and we did the same thing for Kim and got her winched up, and we finally got everybody out of the hollow that was down in there, and we transported her by my Jeep back up to the ambulance. And so I'm just waiting to see if we can find out any information about Donna and her daughter Kim. So the video I'm showing you now is the record from my mirror camera, my forward-looking camera, of what transpired. Something that you need to do, make sure, is if you're a Jeeper, always be on the lookout to help others. We've pulled several people out of mud holes and out of bad situations. So if you're a Jeeper, you wear a lot of hats. You could be just out just enjoying yourself, and the next minute be in search and rescue. So always try to carry blankets, a chainsaw, ropes, or some kind of retrieval equipment, and always be mindful about what's around you, because you never know when you're gonna come up on somebody and your actions could save their life. I think the people that own Jeeps are some of the best people that I've met, and we've owned a Jeep. Will be a year in January, and this is our second Jeep, and I'm so glad we had this one, because my other Jeep was just a little TJ. We couldn't have hauled her or done anything with her there, but I'm very thankful that we got this Jeep and that we were able to help. So I hope you enjoy the video and share so other people may learn what to do in this situation.